Hey everyone, before we really dive in today, if you could just take a quick moment to subscribe and turn on that notification bell, that would be amazing. And hey, while you're at it, hitting that like button and leaving a comment really does help support the channel. Your engagement means the world.
Welcome, everyone. Today, we're opening the case file on one of the world's most famous museums, the Louvre. But we're not just talking about the masterpieces you see on the walls. No, we're talking about the incredible, sometimes unbelievable stories of the art that vanished from them. So get ready, because we are about to explore the Louvre's most daring thefts.
So here's what we've got lined up. First, we'll get a sense of just how important the Louvre really is. Then we'll jump into two legendary heists, one that's famous for being shockingly simple, and another for its lightning speed. After that, we'll try to get inside the minds of these thieves. Why steal priceless art? And we'll wrap up by looking at how museums are fighting back to protect our shared history.
All right, first up, let's set the scene. We're in Paris, France, standing in front of the Louvre. Now, this isn't just any museum. It's a former royal palace, a landmark recognized all over the world. And for a long time, people thought it was basically an impenetrable fortress of art. The sheer scale of what's inside the Louvre is it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. We're talking tens of thousands of artworks, priceless paintings, ancient statues, historical artifacts. Each one isn't just an object. It's like a portal to another time, another place.
So this is a really key point. The art in the Louvre isn't just valuable in terms of money, it's a treasure. And what does that mean? Well, a treasure is something special that teaches us about where we come from. And this is the most important part. It belongs to all of us. So when someone steals a treasure, they're not just stealing an object, they're literally stealing a piece of our collective memory.
Okay, let's get into our first major story. This is the heist that absolutely stunned the entire planet and turned an already famous painting into a global superstar. We are, of course, talking about the day the Mona Lisa just disappeared.
So, let's walk through what happened. It all kicks off in 1911 when a guy named Vincenzo Peruggia does the unthinkable. The news goes viral 1911 style, and the whole world is in shock. It became such a sensation that people actually went to the Louvre just to stare at the empty spot on the wall where she used to be. It was a mystery that gripped everyone for 2 whole years before she was finally found.
Now, you'd think stealing the Mona Lisa would involve some kind of super complex, high-tech plan, right? Well, get this. It was ridiculously simple. Perugia used to work at the museum, so he knew his way around. He literally just hid in a closet overnight. The next morning, he waited for things to get going, walked up to the painting, lifted it off the wall, and just strolled out with it hidden under his coat. No lasers, no rappelling from the ceiling. It was just shockingly easy.
But that leaves us with the million-dollar question, why? Why on earth did he do it? Peruggia's story was that he was an Italian patriot and he believed Napoleon had stolen the painting from Italy, which, by the way, isn't true, and he was just taking it home. But police, they had a much simpler theory. He was in it for the money. To this day, nobody knows for sure, and it's still one of the biggest mysteries in the art world.
Okay, now let's hit the fast forward button.
We're jumping over a century into the future to see how much the game has changed. We're going to look at a more modern heist. This isn't a slow, quiet disappearance. This is a fast, professional, high-tech operation. Let's call it the 4-minute robbery.
Picture this. It's early one morning in Paris. A small crew dressed as construction workers approaches the museum. They totally blend in, but they're not there to do repairs. Their target is one of the most spectacular rooms in the entire Louvre, the Galerie d'Apollon, which is home to the French crown jewels.
And their plan shows you just how different things are now. It was professional, precise, and incredibly fast. They used a construction lift to get up to a high window, broke in without making a sound, used special tools to shatter the reinforced display cases, grabbed the jewels, and were gone on motorcycles in less than 5 minutes. The whole thing was over before the alarms could even bring a response. So, what did they manage to grab? We're talking priceless pieces of French history. The big one was the crown of Empress Eugenie. But in a really weird twist, it was found later that day, just abandoned and a bit damaged. The thinking is that it was just too famous, too hot to ever sell. But a ton of other royal jewels, necklaces, rings, you name it, they vanished into the criminal underworld, and they've never been seen since.
When you put these two heists side by side, it's just night and day. It really shows you how art crime has evolved. You go from the Mona Lisa heist, one guy, a super simple plan, and a motive that's still up for debate. Then you have the modern heist, a whole professional crew, a high-tech strategy, and a motive that is, without a doubt, all about the money. A totally different ballgame.
This all gets you thinking, doesn't it? A priceless piece of art isn't exactly something you can sell on eBay. So what's the point? Why risk it all? Let's take a look at the shadowy motivations that drive art thieves. This chart gives us a really fascinating breakdown. The biggest slice of the pie, at 40%, is, no surprise, black market money. But check this out. A quarter of the time, the theft is ordered by a rich, secretive collector who just wants the masterpiece for their own private viewing. Another 20% is even crazier. The art is used as a bargaining chip in other huge criminal deals, like for drugs or weapons. And then you have that last 15%. People who do it for the thrill, for the adventure. So, what's the fate of these stolen masterpieces? The sad truth is, they almost never see the light of day again. They get locked away in private vaults, they get traded between criminals in the underworld, or they just get stashed somewhere by the thief. Once a piece of art is stolen, it's very often lost to the world, maybe forever.
And this quote, this one really hits home. It perfectly captures the real loss here. It's not just about a missing painting or a lost crown. It's about a hole that's been punched in our history, a story we can't tell anymore, a piece of our past that's just been erased. But it's not all doom and gloom. Museums are not just sitting back and letting this happen. These shocking thefts, as painful as they were, served as massive wake-up calls. So let's look at how places like the Louvre are fighting back to protect our shared history for all the generations to come.
After any big incident, you can bet security gets a major overhaul. This chart shows you the main things they focus on. The alarms get way more sophisticated. The number of cameras goes way, way up. And the physical stuff, like the windows and the glass display cases,
get reinforced with much stronger, shatterproof materials. And this slide really shows the incredible leap forward. I mean, think about it. In 1911, security was basically a few guards and a simple lock on the door. But now, today, a major museum is like a high-tech fortress. We're talking hundreds of cameras, motion sensors, laser grids, specially trained staff, and they work hand in hand with international police forces like Interpol to track down stolen art.
And that's really the ultimate takeaway here. This isn't just the Louvre's problem or France's problem. These treasures are part of our global heritage. They belong to every single one of us, which means that protecting them is a shared mission for everyone all around the world.
So, I want to leave you with this final thought. Art theft is always going to be this high-stakes cat-and-mouse game. As security gets better, thieves get smarter and find new ways to try and beat it. So the question for all of us is, in a world that's always changing, how do we make sure that these irreplaceable pieces of our history are kept safe for the future?
Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, like, and leave a comment to support the channel.